Hello everyone, it's Mr. Justin, and today we're going to be doing some fun math with M&Ms and a bar graph. So, what is a bar graph? A bar graph is a chart that uses bars to show comparisons of data. So, first thing we're going to need is to gather all of our stuff. So we already have our M&Ms right here. You'll need a piece of paper to make your bar graph with, something to write with. It can be a pen, pencil, maybe even colored pencils, crayons, or markers. And then I like to use a straight edge so I can make my graph look real neat and tidy. And you can use a ruler, or you can use anything that has a straight edge, like this book. So the first step, after you've gathered all of your things, is to take your M&Ms, pour them out, and organize them. So you can see there's a bunch of different colors here, and I want you to organize them by their colors. And what I mean by that is just group them all up. So see, I'm putting all the greens over here, I'll put the oranges over here, put all the brown M&Ms over here, yellow ones right here, red ones right there, and finally all the blue ones over here. Alright, and so now they are organized into nice little clumps, and once you're finished with this step, go ahead and brush them off to the side so that they're out of the way, and we can start making our graph. Okay, so on to the next step, we're going to actually make the graph itself. So first, we're going to start with what's called the x-axis, which is the line on a graph that goes side to side. So using our straight edge, in this case, I'm going to use a book. I'm going to set it down on our paper, and I'm just going to go across our straight edge and make a nice straight line so that it's very neat looking. And so what we're going to do is label this the x-axis so we don't forget. See? Just like that. And then next, we're going to make the y-axis, which goes up and down on the graph. It's the line that goes up and down. So, grabbing our straight edge, what we want to do is make sure that it meets the x-axis at some point. Just like this. Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead and label it the y-axis. See? Just like that. And so you can see how the x-axis goes from side to side, and the y-axis goes up and down. And they meet right here, so that is a complete graph. And so now, everything that we record on our graph is going to be right here in this little box area. And next, what we want to do is for each color of M&Ms, we want to write them down here. So for example, we have green, we have orange, red, yellow, blue, and brown. And so you just write them along your x-axis, and that might not make sense right now, but it will here in a little bit. So just write each color along the x. I like to give myself a little space so that I can make my data points clearly different from the other ones. Okay, so one fun little extra step before moving on to the next step is to help you remember, in case you don't want to write out the full word for the colors, if you have color crayons, pencils, or markers, you can instead color out the colors. So I put brown right here, yellow right here, blue, red, orange, and finally green. This is just a fun little extra step. Help add some color to your graph and make it a little more fun. At least I think it is. Alright, so the next step is we're going to start putting our data on the graph. And our data in this case is the M&Ms. And what data stands for is facts collected for reference or study. So the M&Ms are the data for this graph that we are studying. So first, I'm going to start with green, and I'm going to take all the green M&Ms and I'm going to stack them up like this so that they are in their part of the x-axis and they start going up the y-axis. And I'm going to do this for every color. As you can see, we have a lot of green. And if you don't have enough space, that's okay. As long as they're right next to each other and you can count them, then that will be good enough. So next I'm going to do orange and stack them next to the green. And so what we're starting to see here is how many of each color we have compared to each other. In case it was hard for you to visualize it before, bar graphs like this really help us visualize different data points and how they relate to each other. And then there's all the yellow. See, if you look here, it looks like we have the exact same number of red and yellow. That's a fun little fact. Next, on to blue. Looks like we have more blue than we do red or yellow. And it looks like we have more blue than we do orange. And then finally, brown M&Ms. Okay. And so now here are all of our M&Ms from our M&M bag lined up and organized. And so remember, these M&Ms are our data. And so we can see how many of them there are for each color and how it compares to each other. So for example, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 brown M&Ms, and it lines up with the yellow and the red. So that means that there are 7 yellow and 7 red. So just to make it more clearly organized on the graph, what we're going to do is create little notches on the y-axis, and what these notches are going to represent is a different data point or a different M&M counting up. Oops. And it doesn't matter if they're not perfectly spaced out, that's okay, because what each little dash represents is a different M&M. So for example, we have 1 M&M, 2, 3, 4, 5 M&Ms, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 M&Ms, 11 M&Ms. I'm going to go up to 15. That's 12, 13, 14, 15. Now, that should be enough even for all of our greens. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Look at that. So that is the exact number we need to go along here. To help us remember what they mean, what we can do is number them. 1, 2, sideways 2, 3, 4, 5, and we do that going all the way up. And next, what you can do is remove the M&Ms And what you can do is you can create a bar going up all the way to here. So we had 15 M&Ms. Oops, let's move these out of the way. And using this straight edge, you can create an actual little bar going all the way back down. Okay. And so that represents how many green M&Ms we have. Now if you have your colors and you feel like having some fun, extra fun, you can color it in to help you see the color, to see the different M&Ms. So I went ahead and finished creating the rest of the bars for our different data points. And so you can see that we had more green M&Ms than any other M&M. Looks like we had 15 green M&Ms, 9 orange, 7 M&Ms for red, yellow, and brown, and then also 9 again for blue. And then one more thing that we needed to do is we have all these numbers, but if you were to show it to someone, they wouldn't really know what it is. So what you need to do is label it number of M&Ms, so that way when you show it to all your friends or your family members, they can look at the graph and they go, oh, okay, so these were green M&Ms, and they had 15 M&Ms. That makes sense. And then also you need to title your graphs so that it's a little easier and nicer to present. And so I went ahead and titled mine Mr. Justin's M&Ms. And so in my bag of M&Ms, I can show other people that I had 15 green, 9 orange, 9 blue, and then 7 red, yellow, and brown M&Ms. This makes it really easy to share with other people and also compare to other people's bag of M&Ms, which is something you can do. If you have a lot of friends that also have M&Ms, you can each make a graph and then compare and see who had how many of each color. Because it's very likely that each bag of M&Ms will have different numbers of different colors. So this first bag I opened has 15 green, but maybe the next bag I opened, maybe it'll only have 4. The only way to find out is by opening more bags of M&Ms and comparing. Now, what did you think? Did you think that there would be more of an even number of M&Ms per? Did you think that there would be one that had a lot more than the others? Like I said, the only way to know is to open up your bag of M&Ms and compare. And then there's one final step. And this is the most important step. You need to eat your M&Ms.